Welcome to those who have tuned in to Hobbs basketball. This is the junior varsity game in the fourth quarter with just under 7 minutes to go in the game. 46-35, your JV is leading the Oregon Mountain, Oregon Mountain Knights of the JV in a close game. In fact, actually, this game was at halftime. It was a 10-point lead for the Hobbs JV, 34-24, and I don't believe they've actually had not had a lead since the half, I know. But before we got here just at second quarter, and Hobbs had the lead at that time. So not sure if they had the lead the whole time, but they are leading now, and they'll be leading for quite a while. Doing a little repair on the court, so that hopefully won't hinder either this game or the next game. Not sure what's going on with it. In fact, the tape doesn't seem to want to stick to the floor. All right, once again, 46-35 is the score. Hobbs JV over Oregon Mountain Knights JV. As we're here in the castle in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Me and Ty Friend, we're going to be bringing you the game later on all the stations, whether it be on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube on the Hobbs Sports Net. We also have it on the Facebook page on Cool 95.7. You can find it there, and of course, you can always find us later on when we get the game started, or the pregame anyway, on the radio on Cool 95.7. Going to be Tiffany back at the station bringing us some help. We're going to probably be having a little difficulty with our internet. So far it's been going better, but it has been dropping, so we do apologize about that. Not much we can do about the internet. You know how that goes. It's hit and miss at times, but we will definitely bring you the best coverage we can. 6:59 once again, still in timeout. Prolonged timeout, so this may actually delay the start of our game that's scheduled for 2:30. Right now it is 2:11, so there is a possibility we could start it on time, maybe a little bit later, but not by much. All right, we'll be back in moments with more of this game, as well as the final and the announcement of when we're going to start the pregame for your Hobbs Eagles versus the Oregon Mountain Knights here in Las Cruces, New Mexico at the Castle. Be right back. All right, that is the game for the junior varsity. The Hobbs Eagles are victorious. Final score on that one was 65-45 over the Oregon Mountain Knights of JV. Coming up here, we've got about 15 minutes. Looks like maybe less. We're going to find out in a moment if they're going to keep the 15 for the warm-up or not. Hobbs has been behind us warming up already. So, yes, actually it is. So we're going to go back to a moment here where we're going to make sure that we have the right time. Yes, 15 minutes. I'd like to thank sponsors of the broadcast for today, starting with Lasco Construction, TDS, Force Tire, Lee County State Bank, Hobbs Express, of course on hobbsamerica.com, Elite Home Healthcare, along with First American Bank of Hobbs, NMR Pipeline, and Thriftway. Thank you guys for all the support. We really do appreciate it. Making sure we get this on the air. Again, looks like it's going to be a little bit better than what we thought at first. But if we do lose the signal, we'll try to get back as quickly as possible. Once again, it is the 3-4 your Hobbs Eagles facing the 5-1 Oregon Mountain Knights. And we're going to be talking about that in the pregame, which will probably be happening in about 5 to 6 minutes roughly from now. Ron Gunner here, just making sure you know what's going on. We'll be back in moments, not only on here, but also on Cool 95.7 on the radio, bring you all the live action of the Hobbs Eagle basketball. Just get a little history on this. This series goes back to 2000, where the Oregon Knights have actually Hobbs has the slight advantage overall on the record, 15-10, but Hobbs has lost the last 4 out of the 5 contests with this team, hoping to get back into it.
Welcome, everyone, to Las Cruces. Ty Friend here, Ron Gunner, and Tiffany Stuber back at the station. Time for Hobbs Eagle basketball, live on the radio at Cool 95.7, on the internet at HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Your Hobbs Eagles' second game in a row here as they take on Organ Mountain this time around. Last night, of course, the Eagles here in Las Cruces as they lost a hard-fought, low-scoring battle to Mayfield, 45-40. It's been about 5 years since the Eagles have lost to Mayfield. This one on the road, of course. And, Ron, not a very pretty game offensively for either team, but Mayfield just kind of held on to the final minute there and put the game in the books for a W. Yeah,
I mean, it was a low-scoring affair. It could have been won by either team, but unfortunately Hobbs lost that mojo they had in the third quarter, went to the fourth quarter and kind of looked flat. They were trying to do some passing. I understand sometimes you want to get in a passing lane, maybe just get something that looks like it's open. But when you're running low on time like that, you really don't have the you can't afford to take that time to make things happen. You got to make it happen yourself, and that means being aggressive. And that was unfortunately what Hobbs did not do. I was hoping they would get aggressive. At the very least, they'd get on the foul, the free throw shots. That didn't happen, and unfortunately lost by 5.
Yeah, they were down by 9 at the half, 20-11, so only 31 points total in that game between the two teams. Got the lead down to 2 at the end of the third by outscoring Mayfield 18-11, but after that, it was Mayfield putting it in the books with a 14-11 scoring differential in the fourth quarter for the win. Eagles did get a couple of guys in double figures. Abraham Pena got 16, although he fouled out in the fourth quarter late. He was 3 for 4 on the line, so definitely could have used him for maybe some sharp shooting there towards the end. He also had the only three-pointer in the game for the Eagles. That's a season low in terms of the team hitting trays. Braylon Vega, who does lead the squad in trays, did get one as well, I should say. So there was 2 total, not just 1. But Vega getting 1 himself. He had 12 points. It was perfect on the line, 5 for 5 and 5 rebounds. So the sophomore doing a good job of stepping up for the Eagles in scoring. He didn't even start in that game last night, but still was a very big factor in the contest. We should mention, too, along with those 2 guys combining for 28 of the Eagles' 40 points, which is definitely more of the majority there, Hobbs shooting stellar from the free throw line, 10 of 11 for 90%, their best of the season.
Yeah, and they just did not have, I wanted to see more shots, more attempts, more abilities to be able to get back in the game. We knew it was going to be a close one. We definitely knew that the free throws would be a factor in it. Hobbs did great, and we wanted to see them do a few more shots to be able to get in this game, but unfortunately, just that the ball didn't bounce the right way. Something happened that they did not get the foul call shots or the fouls that they wanted to get on the free throw line.
They did hold the top scorer for Mayfield, A.C. Munoz, to only 10 points. He came in averaging 16 a contest, so that was a good job on him. Unfortunately, Brian Coyle, who the Eagles saw last year at Tasker Arena, he ended up with 20 as the leading scorer, and he was pretty much getting points, a bunch of them in the paint. He had 8 in the second quarter. But other than that, a pretty close ball game, as you mentioned just a second ago. The turnovers weren't devastating for either team. Hobbs had 11, which is about 5 less than their average on the games, and only 9 for Mayfield. So that part of it was okay for both teams, just not a lot of scoring opportunities. Hobbs had a lot of point-blank stuff inside. Parker Henderson was getting open, just trying to get those shots to go down, as he was a starter in that game last night. Just didn't have the touch yet. And that's just his third game, though, and he's trying to get himself kind of worked into the chemistry of this squad.
Exactly, and that is part of the thing, too, is both teams have had some great success. Hobbs had more of it, it seemed like, as of late. You thought that they were going to be on a roll. Maybe the 8-day layoff kind of gave him a little bit more rust than we thought. The 3 points in the first quarter did not help. So hopefully Hobbs will come out here more aggressive, more willing to get that eye of the tiger, as they say, and get into this game from the start and play at least 3 good quarters, if not 4 good quarters. That's part of the other problem, too. Just not playing 2 good quarters or 3 good quarters. They have 1 good quarter, the third quarter last night or yesterday, and we want to see them do that a little more often than just sporadically.
Eagles did out-rebound Mayfield 32-27. We talked about that yesterday, too. Sometimes the rebounding numbers don't give you a full picture. At this point, it was because of missed shots in the paint. Hobbs getting 2 and 3 opportunities there in the first half to try to get some points to go down. And unfortunately, those led to extra rebounds, but not extra points in certain stanzas of that ball game. So a lot of different factors in the contest. It came to a loss. Hobbs now is under 500 at 3-4. They like to get back to 500 with the win against Oregon Mountain. These two teams had a lot of history with each other last year. They played 3 times, and one of those is a playoff game, which was here at this gym. Hobbs losing that one 70-56. Prior to that, they played 2 at Tasker Arena. Of course, they opened the season against, not the season, but opened against Organ Mountain on December 16th, losing 60-51 at Tasker Arena. Then turned right around about 12 days later to take on that Organ Mountain team again at the Holiday Tournament and lost 71-68. A little bit closer ball game in that one. But the big one was the playoff game. Hobbs was doing a great job. They were leading at halftime, 39-29. Kind of held with them in that third quarter. Fourth quarter kind of fell apart with some turnovers, but still, they had Organ Mountain on the ropes. And, of course, Eagles were here in Las Cruces for that game because they were a lot lower seed. But Organ Mountain had to kind of get themselves back in gear in that fourth quarter for a win. But besides that one, though, some close games in the first and second matchups at Tasker Arena. A little bit of a differential of 14 in that last game, but still, that Hobbs did a pretty decent job of keeping with that team. And Eagles, of course, had some players that are back this year. Pena, he had 16 in the first game, 16 in the second game, and finished up with 10 in that playoff game. So kind of dropped off there at the end, but still pretty consistent scoring throughout those 3 games. A couple other guys that did see some action. Costa had 6 in game 1, 6 in game 2. Did not score in that third and final playoff game against Organ Mountain. Turbiata saw some action. In the first game, he scored 6 points. Didn't score in either of the other 2 games, though. So some of these guys were kind of up and down in terms of point production against Organ Mountain. One thing we do need to be aware of, though, they have to get some defense on the Cajeras kid. Cajeras is a very big scorer. He had points in all 3 of those games last year. 15 in game 1, 13 in game 2, and he finished up in the playoffs up against the Eagles with 7 points, so a lot lower than what he had in the other 2, but still, Brandon Cajeras is the guy that the Eagles got to watch very carefully. He's their top scorer on this Organ Mountain team.
Yeah, there's a few players that Hobbs definitely needs to keep an eye on. Definitely keep an eye on the perimeter as well. I have a feeling that this team is going to be wanting to shoot the threes. They've been doing that during the practice. They're also going to want to try to see if they can open up the lane and get inside. Of course, also draw the fouls. Those 2 things, Hobbs needs to close down the lanes, be able to protect the perimeter on the floor. And once they do that, I think they can at least disrupt the Knights team just enough to be able to get them off their game just enough. You know, these 2 teams, like you said, they are tight as far as the closeness of how they play. They're going to go back and forth. I have a feeling this is going to be another tight game. It's just going to be a matter of who gets the bigger runs at the end, and hopefully Hobbs will do that, you know, especially at the last part of the game. If you can get the last part of the game where you get a lot of runs, you have a chance of getting this victory.
And this Organ Mountain team went all the way to the semifinals last year in the playoffs, losing to the eventual champ of the state, Volcano Vista, 48-46. So just 3 points away from being in that final game. But that tells you how far they went and how good of a team they were. But right now they're sitting at 5-1 on the season, and they've got some wins. All 4 out of their 5 wins. They beat Roswell to start the season by 4 points, 62-58. In terms of scoring in that one, Brandon Cajeras, we talked about already, 16 points in that game. Yenny Wilson finished up with 12, so those 2 combined for 28 of their final 62 points in that contest. They beat Hope Christian 58-48. Once again, you had Cajeras scoring 12, but they had the Coombs kid step up for 13. He was a top scorer. Pack had 12, and Wilson finished up with 10, so 4 in double figures against Hope Christian, a smaller division team there. Other games that they played, went over Albuquerque Academy by 5, 66-61. They were only up by 5 points at the half, and that was the differential of that game. And it was a second half score of 31-31. So they held on to beat Albuquerque Academy, but it was a close one there. Right. And then just back on December 19th, they walloped on Deming 65-20, a 45-point victory in that one. So 5-1 record for Organ Mountain. Again, Karras is one of the guys they're going to have to watch out for. Wilson is another one that likes to score. We're going to take our final 1-minute break here, getting ready for the tip-offs. The Hobbs Eagles take on Organ Mountain live here in Las Cruces. Come back with us in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Welcome back to Las Cruces as the Hobbs Eagles get ready to take on Organ Mountain, the Knights. Of course, used to be called Oñate. They've been Organ Mountain for a couple of seasons now here. Both teams playing 3 games against each other last year, 3-0 record for the Knights. And it looks like they're getting ready for the national anthem here. We're going to turn it back over to the station to Tiffany. We'll be back in 90 seconds as your Eagles and the Organ Mountain Knights live on the radio and the internet. Welcome back to Las Cruces. We're ready for the Hobbs Eagles and the Organ Mountain Knights as they go head-to-head here. Hobbs wearing the black uniforms, white numbers, and gold trim. And for Organ Mountain, they will have the home jerseys. They're getting all the players announced, all the players getting announced here at the gym right now as we speak. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you, Tiffany Stuber back at the station. Hobbs coming in with that 3-4 record, and Organ Mountain at 5-1. Hobbs averaging 52 points a ball game compared to 60 for Organ Mountain, so they got to beat by about 8 points a game. Hobbs giving up 64, and Organ Mountain only giving up 50. That's 14-point differential in that number there. So, again, and I mentioned, too, on point production, Hobbs has played 7 games and scored 362 points. Organ Mountain's only played 6 games and scored 357, so they're only 5 points behind the Eagles, 1 less game than what Hobbs has had. Hobbs going to be ready to shut down that Karras kid in Wilson if they want to keep their numbers and a chance to get that W today.
Yeah, the defense is definitely going to have to come up big on this one because Organ Mountain is going to make sure that they play them as strong as they can. Hobbs has got to play your defense, get quicker than what they have been. Don't get caught flat-footed on the offensive side or the defensive side. Be able to get on the ball and be able to do what they can do. I know I've seen them do it. They just haven't been able to do it consistently. Hopefully today they'll get on the game and be able to play, like Tasker ball.
Well, looking at the scoring numbers so far for the Hobbs Eagles, a bunch of guys have been stepping up in terms of point production. Of course, Mr. Pena leads the team in scoring, did have 16 last night, and definitely is a guy that you have to go to in terms of the outside shot. Abraham with 15.4 points a contest. He is the leader. Braylon Vega, the sophomore, right behind at 10.6. Those are the only 2 in double digits so far in the average in this season. And then you go down to Jairus Turbiatis. He's averaging 7 points a game, also the leading rebounder on the team as well at 6.8 a game. And also the top man for defense when it comes to steals at 2.4. We've been talking about Turbiatis being a versatile player out there, not just a big man that's going to stand in the paint waiting for the ball or just putting a hand on top of somebody on defense. He's going to be moving around, which is definitely why he's leading in steals at this point. So there's a couple of guys that top scores for the game today, and we're kind of waiting to see what the decision for Coach Ross and Coach Reeves are in terms of how they're going to deal with their guard position, as they had some good time in there last night for Caceres, getting some good spot time. He did not get any point production, but he did have 3 rebounds coming off the bench. And we were waiting to see who the last two starters would be. They're going to have Javen Hernandez starting today, which is kind of refreshing to see him out there. He's come in a couple of games and scored a lot of quick baskets. I know a few games back he had 8 points in the second quarter action. Nick Pena will be out there as well, so a couple of new guys on the starting lineup. Braylon Vega, who did not start last night against Mayfield, he's up there as his second leading scoring from last night's game against Mayfield. And Jairus Turbiatis will be the man to jump for the Hobbs Eagles. Of course, Pena out there as well. Hobbs is out on the court during the announced lineups for Oregon Mountain, so they're ready to go around the circle as they're trying to get through the Knights lineup here in Las Cruces. 5-1 again the Knights, the Eagles at 3-4. The starters for Oregon Mountain, Patrick De La Hoz, Ethan Coombs, Yanni Wilson, Ethan Pack, and Brandon Karras. They're wearing the white uniforms. Jumping will be Karras. Get him up about an inch or two up to Turbiatis here right now. So he will have the advantage at the tip, although Mayfield did get the tip possession on the first part of the game yesterday at their home gym. So we're ready to go here in Las Cruces. Final game before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament next week on Thursday through Saturday. And the tip will be into the backcourt for Oregon Mountain. They'll have the first possession. As coming across the timeline is Coombs. He's guarded by Pena. He wants to clear out well outside the perimeter. Comes around the right side. Stop and go to the baseline. High arching shot from the right side of the rim. No good, but tip back up and in over the front of the iron. Yanni Wilson scores after the rebound. It's 2-0 Oregon Mountain. A two-man trap in the backcourt. Going to pull off of it now as Pena will bring it across the timeline. Guarded by Wilson. Bounce pass to the right wing to Turbiatis. Dribbles up top with a handoff to Pena. Around to the right side. He'll put up a shot from the right elbow. Fade away jumper and right through the hole. Way to start. Pena getting it going for the Eagles. 2 points in the books for him. It's a 2-2 ball game here in Las Cruces. Coming across the timeline, dribbling behind his back, slowing it down just a bit is Wilson. He'll go to the rack with it right side, a high finger roll off the right glass and scores. A quick first step for Wilson as all 4 of the Knights points, 4-2 your score. Quickly in the front court, Pena on the left side arc. He's going to fire up a 3 off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound by Turbiatis. Fadeaway jumper in the middle of the paint, puts it through the hole. So both teams are fired up quickly here. We're tied at 4. 6:50 left first quarter.
Good sign for Hobbs.
Slowing it down is Wilson as he comes across against Pena in the front court, dribbling behind his back, stop and go. Bounce it down to the left corner, wide open. Is a 3 on the way and right through the hole for Karras. Now 7-4. As Oregon Mountain now with a 3-point lead. Pena with the basketball in the backcourt, going one-on-one against De La Hoz. Down to Hernandez in the right corner. He comes off for a big 3 to get his first start of the season and right through the hole there. 7-7, we're tied up. A track meet going on with 6:20 left first quarter. Slowing it down just a bit is Yanni Wilson in the backcourt as Pena will slide backward and the back pedal now in the front court defense. Stop and go for Wilson to the right wing. Puts on the brakes, lost the ball. Should have been a double dribble, no call. And returns it back deep to the near sideline to Coombs. Coombs going to hold it now. Bounce pass to the left wing to Karras. Guarded by Turbiatis and Hernandez now. He pivots, throws up a hook with his right hand. Off the front of the rim, no good. Pulled down by Turbiatis in transition, his second rebound. Throws it ahead to a breaking Vega with a lefty layup over high over the glass and scores. So now Vega with his first points. Eagles already have 4 scores in the books. It's 9-7. Hobbs with their first lead of the ball game. It's Ethan Coombs now at the basketball as he comes across against Pena. Almost gets a steal from Pena there. To the right corner to the baseline. They're going to say he gets ridden on D by Hernandez. Little hand check in the back that time as Hernandez picks up his first. Kind of wondering if that call should have been made there. Didn't look like it caused much of a difference in the play. Didn't come up underneath the hoop. Was getting ready to pass to the other side of the court left, but Fisher gets him from behind. And already is going to be some substitutions for Oregon Mountain. Lenny Washington checks on. And a little bit of size on the court, too, for Oregon Mountain is Derek Rodriguez. Actually, correction, coming on is Ray Venegas for Oregon Mountain. Inbound to the right elbow, fadeaway jump shot for Washington. Hits off the rim, no good. Chased down by Hernandez, already gets his first rebound along with the tray. Down to Vega, who lost the ball. It looked like he was trying to shoot or maybe pass, and it gets deflected away back to Oregon Mountain. In the hands of Wilson. First turnover for the Eagles. Wilson will come across the timeline against Vega. Top of the circle, down the lane. Dishes off left corner. Karras fakes a 3. Spin on the baseline left. Goes up high with the shot over the rim. No good. Tip back up on the right block. It doesn't drop. Karras goes back up again and tips it in from the left side and scores and is fouled 5 points for Karras and a rebound. Venegas was the guy that tipped it up the first time, and a chance for a 3-point play for Organ Mountain to try to break this 9-9 tie. They get the foul call against Jairus Turbiatis, his first, second team foul against the Eagles.
There is no backing off for the Oregon Mountain Knights. They were in it to win it as far as that point went. 3 times it took to get them to get it in.
Free throw good, a high one for Karras. 6 points for him to lead both teams, 10-9. Oregon Mountain back up by 1. In the front court, crossover moves here for Pena, left wing now. He'll back it out. Screen from Turbiatis, top of the circle. And coming back to get the ball is Pena at the timeline. Comes back to the right, fakes the handoff to Pena. Flips it down in the paint to Vega. His shot is swatted from behind, gets his own rebound. Fade away from the right baseline. 18-footer, nothing but net. Great second effort there for Vega. He's got 4 points and a rebound. It's 11-10. Eagles by 1 once again. Their biggest lead of the first quarter. Wilson in the front court. Long pass down the left baseline to Venegas. Lost the ball. It's on the near sideline left and picked up by Washington to save it. Or Wilson make that. He goes backdoor with the pass down to left block to Venegas. Wide open for some reason. Who lays in it for 2. It's now 12-11. Oregon Mountain. Back and forth. Seesaw affair here in Las Cruces. In the front court, Nick Pena. Stop and go. Over to the right wing to Hernandez. Up top to the big man Turbiatis. Finds Pena on the right wing. Drives the lane. Left side reverse slap. Hook shot no good. Put back up by Turbiatis. Right of the glass and throws it over the rim for 2. Turbiatis now with 4 points and 3 rebounds. It's 13-12. Another 1-point lead. This thing is going back and forth. The tug of war and a bad pass on the timeline as trying to zing it over to the right wing was Coombs, but throws it as his teammate Washington was looking up the court, and it sails to the Hobbs Eagle bench on the right sideline. That's the first turnover for Oregon Mountain.
Yeah, something we talked about in the pregame was the fact that Hobbs needed to be in this from the beginning. They are right now. This is the first time in a while we've seen the Hobbs Eagles have these back and forth on the lead changes.
Oregon Mountain does have the advantage in terms of record since 2000, so 23 years of action between these two teams. They're 15-10 against the Hobbs Eagles. In the front court, Pena gets a double team on the near sideline. He's going to have some problem with the trap. Tries a wraparound pass, knocked out of the hands of Pena. Stolen by Oregon Mountain. A layup at the other end on a scoop shot. Putting it through for 2 was Ray Venegas. He's got 4 points. The second Eagles turnover. 14-13, Oregon Mountain. Hernandez in the front court, right wing. Up top to Turbiatis. To the right elbow. Returns Hernandez right side. Up top to Beatty, who just checked in. He's going to tank off a 3 NBA distance off the back of the rim. Hernandez chases it down on the left perimeter. That's his second rebound. He tries to pass it up court to the timeline. Gets it knocked out of his hands by Oregon Mountain. It'll be Eagle basketball on that far left sideline in front of their Oregon Mountain bench.
Yeah, you're right about the fact that this is a track meet. Hobbs is keeping up so far. They need to continue doing so during this first quarter and beyond.
Ethan Pack, one of the starters, returns. A pass down low on the inbound. Hook shot on the right block. Turbiatis waiting for it and puts it through for 2. Nice sure footing down underneath the hoop for Turbiatis with 6 points to lead the Eagles. 15-14 Hobbs. 2:50 left in the first. Oregon Mountain gets it across the timeline. Ball in the hands of Emmett McDaniel, who just checked in. Sends it to the left wing to Venegas. Back up deep to McDaniel. Over to right side to Delahus. And they got to travel. Stutter step before he drove to the free throw line, attempting a jumper. That'll be the second turnover for the night. So both teams with 2 turnovers apiece. And Hobbs holding on to a 1-point 15-14 lead. 2:40 left, opening quarter. Beatty with the basketball. Stop and go as he takes on Washington. Into the front court, unloads to Vega. Vega's going to face up his defender, McDaniel. Drives around the left perimeter, down the lane. To left corner to Beatty for 3. Rainbow jumper, nothing but net. The Eagles are seeing their touch in this game. Big time shot for Beatty. The second tray of the contest, matching their numbers from last night against Mayfield. Biggest lead is 4 for the Eagles, 18-14. In the front court, driving the right side of the lane. High arching layup off the rim for Washington. Loose underneath the left side of the glass, and it's knocked out for Oregon Mountain by Ethan Pack. Hobbs Eagle basketball.
Yeah, Beatty was able to get it back out and off the Oregon Mountain player before it went out of bounds. That was some heads-up play right there. Good going for Hobbs Eagles.
Karras is going to return. By the way, he is 6'5", so it does give some size for Oregon Mountain. And big, stout shoulders for him as well. You got to think there might have been a team meeting last night to get some energy back into this club because you see a lot different situation. But a steal on the inbound. It's going to be Oregon Mountain's ball in the front court. Washington on the right wing. Throws it down the lane on a thread the needle. Layup on the right side of the reverse. Putting it through the hole was Venegas. He's already got 6 points. Matching Karras for the top score for Oregon Mountain. But still the Eagles with a 2-point lead, 18-16. 1:58 left here in the first.
It wasn't long ago when the coach told me that, hey, we can tell you everything we can do, but you can't hold your hand and do it for you. You got to go out there and play as hard as you need to or hard as you can, because you cannot do it off the court. You got to do it on the court.
That's what we saw in that playoff game back on March 3rd last year. They came on and were up by 10 at the half, 39-29. Completely surprising Oregon Mountain's crowd. They weren't quiet. He could drop a pin here in the gym. Pena comes across the timeline, gets tripped from behind, and falls face first into the floor at the free throw line in the front court. Bunch of guys behind him, not sure they're going to call this foul against. A couple of people could have tripped him up there. That looks like going to be the first foul charged to Jaime Garcia, and the first team foul against Oregon Mountain. Eagles inbound from the right baseline, bounce it back door. There's Vega with the layup high off the glass, left side. Vega has his 6th point of the ball game here in the first. Hobbs back up by 4, matching their biggest lead over Oregon Mountain. 1:35 left in the quarter. Coming across the timeline, Wilson stop and go. Cradle down the lane with a semi-hook off the left glass, no good. Ball tipped out, saved on the far right sideline. Attempted save at least by McDaniel. He runs right into the scores table, and they were not able to track it down, so it will be Hobbs Eagle basketball.
Yeah, just ran out of real estate. Tried to track it down, like you said, but he went out of bounds before he's able to get it back in.
Josiah Clay checks in for Vega. Of course, Vega's already been lighting it up for 6 points as sophomore. As the inbound comes to Pena deep in the backcourt. He'll be challenged one-on-one. Jaime Garcia on defense at the timeline with 1:20 left in the quarter. Eagles up by 4. Pena was waiting for a screen, going to get one from Hernandez. Gets a double team, but it's stripped away from him. Taken by Pack. Pack gets blocked at the right baseline by Pena. Able to pass back door, shot on the way from the left side, and putting it through the hole on the J was Jaime Garcia. Right close to the hoop that time. It's now 22-16. I think they put the wrong points up there, didn't they? At the other end, Pena tries to throw up a 3 from the right side. It goes air ball, but they're going to call the foul. I think it should be 18-16 or 20-16 Eagles.
Correct. Yeah, they did put it on the wrong side, but either way, on that last shot that the Knights had, that was a nice set of patience that were just waiting underneath the basket to be able to get the clearance, and he just popped it in, nothing but net.
That was the second foul on Garcia, so that's going to give Pena 3 free throws. Second team foul against Oregon Mountain. He makes his first, as that was a 3-point shot Pena attempted. He's got 3 points. Now Eagles 1 for 1 on the line after that one. Second shot is up, and it is a swish as well. Hobbs came into the contest shooting 67% last night. They had a couple of guys on the free throw line, but not a lot. But they went 10 of 11 against Mayfield for 90%, their best of the season.
Yeah, and they were working on their free throws. It appears they have been improving, and that's exactly what they needed to do.
Abraham Pena makes all 3 free throws through the net. He's got 5 points. Nick Pena will return, as well as Beatty for Hobbs. Hernandez will stay on the court. And seeing his first action in this game, Malachi David on there as well, and Clay. 48 seconds left, first quarter. Hobbs has their biggest lead of 5, 23-18. Pass comes across the timeline to Wilson on the left wing. Touch it down to the left corner to Pack. Pack is going to dump it left block to Washington. Back out to McDaniel on the left baseline. Throws up a 15-footer, knocks off the rim, and goes out of bounds. No good on that one. So Pack was unable to convert on the jumper. Hobbs basketball with 33 left first quarter, up by 5. Ball gets deflected, trying to get it to Clay. Picked off on the right elbow by Wilson. His shot's off the mark. And there's Hernandez underneath the hoop for the Eagles for his 3rd rebound. Gets it off to Clay. In the backcourt, a double team against him. Finds Pena at the timeline. Brings it across the stripe and gives it back to Clay on the right wing. Drives the left side of the lane. Windmill layup high over the rim. It's no good. Ball loose underneath and pulled down by the Knights, and that's Ethan Pack. Outlet to the far left sideline front court, Washington. He goes back doors. Karras goes up strong with 2 hands, and he's going to pull 2 guys on top of his head there. David and Pena. I think they get Pena on the foul. That will be the 3rd team foul against the Eagles, and that is the first on Pena. That'll put Karras on the line. Oregon Mountain 1 for 1, and that was Karras who shot the free throw earlier in this quarter. Venegas and Karras both with 6. First free throw is a big brick off the front of the rim. Eagles top scorers right now. Vega and Turbiatis both with 6 and 5 for Pena.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of adjusting to get it into the cylinder. That was a terrible shot, just barely hit the rim.
Second shot, a high one again. That's what he likes to do, put it way up in the air, and he puts it through on the second one. He's got 7, does Karras, 23-19. Here come the Eagles. A half-court shot before the buzzer. Missed, but a chance to scoop and throw at the buzzer right near the right side of the rim by Hernandez, but it sails over, does not even hit the metal. But a good effort there. He thought the clock was going to run out on that half-court shot for Clay, which was kind of an air ball there, but almost an alley-oop to Hernandez, who smartly tried to get the shot off before the buzzer and did so. It did not go in the cylinder, though. But the Hobbs Eagles leading by 4 at the end of 1, 23-19 over Oregon Mountain. We'll take a 30-second break and come back live with more Hobbs Eagles hoops on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back here in Las Cruces, your Hobbs Eagles leading Oregon Mountain 23-19. The final game before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament next week on Thursday. And Ron, so far, good effort for the Hobbs Eagles to get out in this game early. Not 3 points like we saw last night against Mayfield in the first. Hobbs having a lead and 23 on the scoreboard. Of course, Turbiatis and Vega both with 6 apiece, 5 for Pena, 3 apiece for Beatty and Hernandez. Already 2 3-pointers. That's the most we had in the game yesterday in the full contest. Was 2 threes.
I know, and they needed to open up the shooting game a lot more than they did yesterday. They looked timid, or at least they looked like they weren't knowing what to do. So now they're looking back to the Hobbs Eagles, their tradition, and they look strong today.
Top scorer for Oregon Mountain, Karras was 7, 6 for Venegas, 4 for Wilson, and 2 for Garcia. Hobbs basketball to start the second quarter, up by 4. They get a pass to Vega in the right wing. He tried to jack a 3 up and got rejected, slapped out of bounds on the basketball that time. That was Yenny Wilson getting up strong on that one, but Hobbs will get it on the near sideline. Pena out there, Turbiatas, Vega, Pena, and Hernandez getting his first start in this game. Inbound to Pena near the timeline. They're going to call a push-off foul, offensive screen on the Eagles. On that near sideline right. Hobbs going left to right on the radio dial. Let's see who they're going to hit that one up against. Might have been Vega. That will be the Eagles' first team foul here in the second quarter. Again, we have a restart, remember. Looks like Turbiatas just picked up his second personal on that screen foul. Inbound back deep to Washington. Gets it to the timeline to Wilson. It comes across with a dribble through his legs a couple of times against Pena. Comes to the right perimeter, kicks it up top, wide open Karras. Nobody stayed with him, and he sits down flat-footed and throws it through the hole. Defense nowhere to be found on that one. That's his second tray of the ball game. 10 points leading for Karras. 23-22. Hobbs still by 1. In the front court, Pena, right wing. Shake and bake down the lane. Finds Vega in the left corner. Fakes a 3, steps up to 18, fires the J anyway. Out the side of the rim, no good. Rebound by Karras, his second. Tries a wraparound pass in the paint in the backcourt and almost got it stolen away. Knocking the ball to the baseline was Vega. Almost had that steal. And, boy, he put his body right on the hardwood that time.
He did. He tried to do everything he could to get that ball. Just wasn't enough.
Full court pressure for the Hobbs Eagles. The inbound to Washington, far right sideline. Returns it back deep to Coombs. He'll be taken on by Pena on defense. Goes behind his back. Crossover move to the front of the court now. Dish off left wing and driving to the hole. Wilson lost the ball going underneath, and it's tied up as it ricochets. As Pena going toe-to-toe on the near sideline left with Combs for the jump ball. The arrow going to go for Oregon Mountain. 23-22, Eagles by 1, 6:59 left, second quarter here in Las Cruces. Now we got some confusion out here. Not sure if there was a jump ball discussion. A couple of officials having a talk here about the call. I'm not sure what the situation is. Coach Ross up right now is pacing the sideline. They're going to go to the table possibly, and just now all 3 officials having a meeting in the free throw line area.
Yeah, needs to be a clarification on something with 6:59 to go in this second quarter.
I'm wondering if it has something to do with the arrow. One of the officials now going to the scores. No, he actually was starting to go towards the Oregon Mountain bench, and then Coach Ross calls him over. They did call the jump ball. We know that for sure, but I'm not sure what the issue is here. Clock stop with 6:59. They're having a discussion with Coach Gonzalez now for Oregon Mountain. I still don't know what.
It looks like it was a change of possession, but no, nothing changed on the scorekeepers.
Oregon Mountain is going to inbound left corner. Wilson down low to Karras. Double clutch, reverse layup underneath. They're going to say he put his shoulder down and rammed into the Hobbs Eagle defenders underneath the hoop that time. I think that was Pena and Vega waiting for him. Still waiting for the official to get some room. He can make the call. And yeah, they're going to call that on Karras for offensive foul. The charge, his first team foul against the Knights here in the second quarter. So a lot of delay there, but did not work out for the Oregon Mountain Knights. Eagle basketball, they got two guys in the backcourt waiting for the inbound. Vega will be on the deep right corner, and three defenders back there. Everybody's matched up at this point with Oregon Mountain's full court press. Inbound to Pena on the near side. Gets a little bit of a gap between him and Washington now, and he wants to see the offense set up as he comes across the timeline, as he points both to right and left of the perimeter. Finds Pena right side. He spots up a three. High one off the back of the rim, and somehow gets over the backboard too and goes out. So unfortunately, no chance for a rebound on that one. And kind of a quick shot. He dribbled right, and then all of a sudden did one of those quick side steps, Harden of the LA Clippers style. And unfortunately, the ball hit hard off that rim and went way in the air.
Yeah, it didn't quite hit the center like he wanted it to.
Coombs will bring it across the timeline now for Oregon Mountain. Lost the ball off his left leg, going through his legs. Good defense for Pena. Gets by him, though. Goes right baseline, scoop shot, and Turbiatis gets a piece of it. Tried to swat at it, and I think he just barely glanced the leather, and it went out of bounds on that baseline right side.
Well, either way, he did reject that one, so, yeah, Oregon Mountain has to reset again.
Inbounding will be Ethan Coombs, right base, as you face the hoop. Underneath their own basket, inbound to the right wing, pulled down by Washington. Goes backdoor to Karras, going high with two hands off the glass. He likes to post up, and he's got his 12th point of the ball game. Off the glass, that one, 24-23. Oregon Mountain back up by one. Eagles' biggest lead here in the first half has been 5. Over to Pena on the left wing, puts it back to Pena. Crossover move, left side of the lane to Vega left corner. He takes a few dribbles, kicks it up top to Turbiatis. Zigzags, returns back to the timeline to Pena. Going to reset the offense. Turbiatis comes out to try to set a screen. Pena doesn't use it. Drives the lane. Fade shot in the paint. Rolling around the rim and good. Nice J for Pena to pull up quickly in the middle of the lane that time. He's got 7. 25-24. Eagles by 1. The pass to Karras across the timeline. Going one-on-one against David High to the right side. Misses the layup. Ball gets swatted away on the rebound by Wilson. And I think he was the last guy to touch it. So Eagles will get it. And now it seems like Oregon Mountain swinging at the ball on rebounds instead of bringing them back down and going back up, and kind of like what Karras likes to do, and that's cost him in the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what the strategy on that is, but it's definitely costing them and helping out the Eagle cause.
But there's a steal on the inbound. Pena tried to track it down, ripped away by Washington, deep right corner of the front court for the Oregon Mountain, but he lost the basketball. I never think he really had possession of it, so won't call a turnover either way on that one. Now Coach Gonzalez wants a timeout to talk to his Knights. We got a barn burner going on here in Las Cruces. A lot better offensive production than what we saw last night. 5:35 left before the half. 25 Hobbs, 24 Oregon Mountain. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back to second quarter action here in Las Cruces. Your Hobbs Eagles lead 25-24. Coach Gonzalez just called that timeout, Ron. What's he telling his team over there on the Knights bench?
I think he's telling them exactly what you were talking about the fact that they're not getting those rebounds easily enough, and they need to calm down, be able to get those rebounds and be able to get back into this game. They're close. It's both sides, and they also need to play a little bit of defense as well.
So far, Oregon Mountain with 2 trays, both from Brandon Karras. He's the leading scorer with 12 points. Hobbs has also got a couple of trays. Beatty and Hernandez both hit one. And top scorer for the Eagles, Pena was 7, though. Right behind him, Vega and Turbiatis with 6 apiece. Hobbs Eagle basketball at the end of their bench on the far left sideline of the backcourt. And the Eagles will have Vega to throw it in here. Pena and Pena both in the backcourt. Try to keep those two names separated. Pena gets the inbound, a double team, throws it up the far left sideline to Vega. Down to Turbiatis, wide open left corner. Rainbow 3, clinks the side of the rim, no good. Karras there for the rebound in the middle of the paint. That'll be his 3rd board. And still Hobbs up, though, 8-7 in the rebounding numbers right now. Coming across the timeline after the pass to Washington. He'll spot shot from the free throw line and swishes it. Turbiata's backed up for just a second, and Washington makes him pay for his first bucket. 26-25 Oregon Mountain. Quickly the Eagles thread the lane with a pass to Turbiata's, a spinner shot to return the favor as he puts it through the hole. Turbiata's now with 8 points. He's the leading or second leading scorer for now. No, he is first now for the Eagles. 27-26, up by 1. 4:50 left in the half. Front court, Washington in the right corner. Slings it up top to Karras, open for a tray. In and out, no good. Rebound right block, a fadeaway. Can't convert his Diahose. And put back up and in over the front of the rim, though, by Karras. He's starting to come on. He's got 7 points there in the second. Had 7 in the first for 14 and his 4th rebound.
Yeah, got 3 chances. We're able to make it on the third.
Knights up by 1. 28-27 is coming across as Pena on the near side. Guarded by De La Jose. Stop and go to the right side of the lane. Reverse slap with his left hand and puts it through off the glass. Beautiful change in the air with the basketball and a lefty layup on the left side of the glass. Great job for Pena on that one. He's got 9. 29-28 Eagles. 4:08 remaining in the first half. A fadeaway jumper at the other end. Left corner no good for De Jose, and pulled down for the Eagles by Vega on the far left side. Vega with his second rebound. Gives off to Pena near right. Screen for David. Uses it. Come to the free throw line. Pivots. Looking for help. Back to David. Top of the circle. He wants a 3 for the big man. Off the back of the rim. High in the air, though. And we got a big challenge for a jump ball as Karras was going up toe-to-toe with Pena. He had his hands on the basketball, did Karras. The whistle blew. Then he forced his biceps on the basketball from both ends of the ball that time to throw Pena to the floor. No physical contact, but he put a lot of force on that basketball.
Yeah, they were both using a lot of physicality, like you said, and definitely one of the balls should have been a jump ball. I think it was, and that's good because it went to Hobbs.
You kind of wonder if that extra force should have been a technical on that. Once the whistle blows, you're not supposed to put any more action like that, but
sure.
He didn't really use any body on it, but it was all on ball. Probably could have flattened the ball with the squeeze he had on that one. Inbound to Pena, gives it back deep to Pena with 3:40 left in the half. Eagles up by 1. Pena at the timeline, and looks like Coach Ross wants to talk to the team. He came out about 3 inches on the floor there and yelled the timeout to get the refs' attention there at the scores table. We'll take a break as well with 3:37 left here in the second. Hobbs 29, Oregon Mountain 28. Come back with us in 30 seconds. Back live here in Las Cruces, your Hobbs Eagles holding on to a 1-point lead, 29-28 over Oregon Mountain. And boy, this Oregon Mountain team is a force to be reckoned with around the state. Currently in the Max Preps poll, they're ranked at 6, and the coaches poll at number 5. Of course, they were in the semifinals last year, losing a 2-point heartbreaker to the potential and then becoming the state champion, Volcano Vista. Ron, let's thank our sponsors for Hobbs Eagle Hoops on the radio and the internet this season.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to all the following: Lasco Construction, TDS, Forest Tire, Lee County State Bank, Hobbs Express, Elite Home Healthcare, First American Bank of Hobbs, NMR Pipeline, and Thriftway.
And, of course, they'll be with us next week, too, for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament, starting on Thursday, a 3-day affair, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Hobbs boys will have the late game on all those around 8 o'clock. Girls will be before that. We'll have that coverage as well on our sister station, the Eagle 100.5. So lots of hoops coming up throughout the holidays. And the Hobbs Eagles, after their timeout, now have it in the front court. Pena with the basketball. Gets some tough pressure by Washington. Unloads left wing to Vega. Gets a double team near the Volcano, or make the Oregon Mountain bench. Back to Pena. He drives the lane. Tries to get it down low to Turbiata. Saves it on the right baseline. Back up top to Pena, top of the circle. Jab step, and they're going to say he slid his pivot foot. Coach Ross comes out of the court after that one. Kind of looked like that back foot did have a little bit of a rotation to it, but I think he had the tip of his toe on the court. Coach Ross had a question about that one, but that will be a turnover for the Eagles. Been very little turnovers, only 5 total, 3 for Hobbs, 2 for Oregon Mountain. They try to football throw down the lane to the other end. It's loose and picked up by Pena for Oregon Mountain's third turnover. To Pena in the front court, right wing, double team. Finds Hernandez in the right corner. He dribble up the sideline, looking for help. Double team against him. Bounce pass to Turbiatis. Right elbow up top to Pena. Goes back to Turbiatis on the give and go. Saved it from the left baseline. Back to Vega at the free throw stripe. To Pena near the timeline to reset. Eagles being very patient with the basketball, trying to get things set up. Pena at the top of the arc, spinning left. Fakes the handoff to Pena. Pena comes back with it and gets the handoff at the timeline. To Pena on the near side right. Crossover move, spot shot from the 3, top of the arc, off the back of the rim, no good. Karras on the left baseline with the rebound, his 5th. Outlet to the near side left, cross corner as he connects to Wilson. Wilson going to spot it up to the left block with a pass to Venegas. Turnaround jumper in the paint as he spun in the middle of the lane and puts it through for 2. So Venegas now with 8 points, his first bucket of the second quarter. 30-29, Oregon Mountain back up by 1. In the front court, Pena to the left wing, screen from Turbiatis. Keeps his dribble alive outside the perimeter. Up top to Pena. Crossover move down the lane. A runner shot in the way. Bouncing around the rim. No good. Loose underneath the hoop and pulling it down for Oregon Mountain is Venegas, his 2nd rebound. He'll slow it down as he throws it to the near sideline to Washington on the left. He comes to the timeline against Pena with 1:50 left in the half. Eagles down by 1. To the right wing, picked up by Pena, spotted up a 3, in and out, no good. Put back up on the left block, missing the tip in was Venegas, and coming down with it is Turbiatis underneath the hoop. That's his 4th rebound. Gives it to Pena, who drives hard across the timeline, top of the circle for a 3 off the back of the rim. Pulled down by Washington for Oregon Mountain on the right block, his 1st rebound. Sends it ahead, but a bad pass up the far right sideline. Pena gets the steal, then he runs over Washington for a charge. We got turnovers going both ways. It goes back to Oregon Mountain. Both teams kind of getting out of sync here in the last minute or so.
And that's what happens when you get into the intensity of it. I love the fact that Hobbs has been able to answer back. They didn't do it this time around on these Oregon Mountain scores, but they've been able to keep up with them, answer back every time Oregon Mountain shoots one. Hobbs can do the same.
Both teams have 4 turnovers now. So not a lot of mistakes at this point. Just trying to see who's going to make the more mistakes to take advantage of it. Hobbs still down by 1, 30-29 with 1:20 left here in the second. Coming across the timeline is Wilson. Gets a screen, drives the right side of the lane, tries a bounce pass, it's loose. Finally picked up by Garcia, sends it to the left wing, an 18-footer by Pack, and swishes it through. That's Pack's first bucket of the ball game. A 3-point Oregon Mountain lead. In the front court coming Caceres, as he checks into the game for the Eagles. Spin move to the right perimeter and hands it off to Beatty, who also just checked in. Stays on the right side, sliding to the top of the arc off the dribble. Gives it to Turbiatis, right elbow. He's going to fire a J on 2 defenders off the front of the rim, though. No good. And Karras sky high for the rebound for Oregon Mountain. Unloads to his guard, McDaniel. Throws it to the right baseline to Pack. His 15-footer off the front of the rim, no good. Long rebound for Pena in transition, his first board. Dribbles behind his back. Shot from the right elbow. A fadeaway off the front of the rim, no good. A double touch. Oregon Mountain and Hobbs battling for it on the left block. Hernandez got a piece of it. So did Karras. They're going to say it went off Karras' hand. It'll be Eagle basketball facing the rim, left on the baseline. 28 seconds left here in the half.
We've had a slump in scoring. We haven't had one in quite a while, in fact. This has been a low-scoring quarter.
Caceres gets into Beatty, left baseline, 15-footer. He gets crumbled as ramming into him was Jaime Garcia. Ball came off the back of the rim on the jumper for Beatty, but he'll get 2 free throws on this one. That's already the 3rd on Garcia, 2nd team foul against the Knights. And not a lot of fouling going on either. Oregon Mountain with 4 total in the game and 4 for the Hobbs Eagles. So Beatty will go to the line. He's trying to get himself in the scoring book, or actually he had a tray in the first quarter, trying to get in the scoring book here in the second quarter. Beatty comes in shooting 100% this season. He misses the first, he'll get 1 more. So he was 100% coming into this game. Hobbs right now is 3 of 4 for 75%. All 3 free throws previous to that from Pena, who leads with 9 points for the Eagles, 8 for Turbiatis. 32-29, a 3-point game. Second shot is up off the back of the rim. Couldn't get either one of them. There's Karras again, middle of the paint to rip that thing down. He's starting to get pretty big in the paint. He's got 7 rebounds. Throws it across the timeline to Garcia. Top of the arc is a screen from Karras. Down the left side of the lane. Reverse is rejected by Beatty. Shoves that one out of bounds. And Beatty just kind of waited for him to kind of barely push it up in the air, and he just slapped it hard.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where you're trying to play defense and you're not trying to foul. And it's hard to do sometimes.
Inbound to Karras on the left block. He's going to pivot, throw up a semi-hook, and the paint comes in and out, no good. A touch shot is an air ball for Pack, but put back up and in for Karras on the right block. before the buzzer, and that will end it as the Hobbs Eagles cannot get a three-quarter court shot off by Hernandez before the buzzer sounded. So Karras puts it through there. 16 points for him in the first half and 8 rebounds. He's the one that's keeping the lead for Organ Mountain at the half. It's the Knights 34, your Hobbs Eagles 29, a 5-point deficit. We'll talk about it here in 3 minutes. The Hobbs Eagle halftime show continues on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube.
We're back at halftime here in Las Cruces. Your Hobbs Eagles leading, or trailing, I should say, 34-29 to Organ Mountain. We do apologize for the internet video feed on YouTube, etc., HobbsAmerica.com. We are in a cinder block gymnasium here, and that is really something we always have an issue with with the signals, and especially in Las Cruces. Talking to the tech director of the district yesterday, he said that has been a problem all over the district for Mayfield and here at Organ Mountain. So we apologize for that. We do hear the audio is going hopefully over the internet as well. At least you can hear that and keep up with the ball game. We do apologize. That's nothing we can do about that at this end. So please don't call the athletic directors. They've already been getting their phone off the hook. We do know the video is not perfect at this point, or probably not very good at all because of the environment we're in. But still, Hobbs with a 5-point deficit, a lot better showing than what we saw last night. Hobbs had 3 points in the first quarter last night against Mayfield, 9 at halftime. It wasn't because they were getting blown out or anything. Just the offense wasn't there. We see a lot more I think you're seeing a lot more attacks at the basket. You're seeing guys that are getting more aggressive on the rebounding and not just letting one shot and done. And some good off-dribble shots, too, we've been seeing from Payne and a few other people and stroking it through. But a lot more motivation and an energy
energy out there. I would venture to say there's probably discussion last night that was not a good loss for the Hobbs Eagles after 5 years of not having to worry about Mayfield. Then all of a sudden that happened. I think there might have been some energizing moments there when the kids got together and said, hey, we're not going to look like this tomorrow, which is what we're doing right now, playing some pretty decent basketball. Still down by 5, but they've been in the lead for quite a bit this first half.
Yeah, I definitely had to be motivation. After you had 3 in the first and 9 in the second, 11 points altogether, 4 or 8 in the second. And Hobbs had 11 points to show in a first half of a game. That is uncalled for. That is not something that is Hobbs-like. And definitely what my theory is this. I think the coaches said, look, if you play the same way you did yesterday, expect to walk home because, we need to see some motivation. We need to get this into a gear because just in a couple of days from now, we're going to have Christmas. And after that, it's going to be all about the tournament. And you want to look great at the tournament in front of your home crowd. And so this energy that you're showing right now, you showed us yesterday, is not going to cut it. So they need to come out here, like I said, need to do everything they can, put it out on the court because once you get off the court, it's not going to count for anything at all. So keep it on the court, do some threes, get some defense, get some turnovers, do whatever you can to help the cause and get them in this game. And I love the fact that Hobbs was answering those points. Up until recently, they were keeping up with the Oregon Mountain Knights.
Also, too, I think both coaches, Coach Reeves and Coach Ross, sending a message, too, starting Javen Hernandez as sophomore. He came on big in that first part of the game, had 4 rebounds and a tray also. Definitely trying to show Coach that he wants the time out on the court to help out his team. And he's just a sophomore, as I said, so that's a good sign there. Looking at the numbers in the first half, the top scorer for either team, Brandon Karras, 16 points. He had 7 in the first quarter and 9 in the second. Had both of the trays for Oregon Mountain in this game, also with 8 rebounds. Not doing a great job of blocking him out, the Eagles are at this point. So they got to make sure that he is taken control of and maybe get some bodies on him to make sure he's not getting the tap-ins and the putbacks that he's been seeing, especially in that second quarter. He's also 2 for 3 from the charity stripe right now. Half of his points, Raven Agus with 8 so far. He had 3 buckets in the first quarter, had 3 rebounds. It was Yenny Wilson with 4 points and 2 apiece for Garcia, Washington, and Pack. Again, Karras, the leading rebounder with 8 and 3 for Venegas. And right now, it's Oregon Mountain with just 17 rebounds, but it is more than the Eagles, who have 11 through 2 quarters of action. Make that to Oregon Mountain is 2 for 3 from the charity stripe for 66%, and they've turned the ball over 4 times, the exact same amount that the Hobbs Eagles had in the first half. And for your Hobbs Eagles, yet to get a double-digit score, but getting close, Abraham Payne with 9 points. He was 3 for 3 on the line in the first quarter. Also scoring for the Eagles, Jairus Turbiatas with 8 points and 4 rebounds. Had 6 of those points in the first quarter. A great start for him in this ball game. Braylon Vega had 6 points in the first half of action. It was a tray for Braddock Beatty coming off the bench. He was also 0 for 2 on the line. And Javen Hernandez hit a tray for 3 points and 4 rebounds. Top order so far, both Turbiatas and Hernandez tied with 4 rebounds apiece. We mentioned they had 11, 6 less than Oregon Mountain at this point in time. Eagles are 3 of 5 from the line for 60%. They've gotten a couple of 3-pointers, as we mentioned. That was Beatty and Hernandez, the same amount that Oregon Mountain had in the first half. Both teams, again, with 4 turnovers in the first half of action. So 34-29. Last night we saw the halftime score kind of shaking our heads because it was not pretty for either team, really, although I'm sure Mayfield was pretty excited about the fact that they were up 20-11. But right now we've got a total of 63 points on the scoreboard, and that gives us kind of a sigh of relief here and seeing a little bit more offensive action going on.
Yeah, we love to see the fact that Hobbs is out here. They're scoring. They're still not up to their average as we know it, but still doing a whole lot better than yesterday and a whole lot better than they have in some of the games this season. Look to see a lot more of that as the team gets a little more bonded, a little more unified together, being able to anticipate each other's needs, be able to feed each other as well. That was one of the things that happened last night. They were feeding Cole underneath the basket. He was able to get those extra points because of that, and that's the reason why that Hobbs lost last night, simply because they could not stop that feed under the basket.
Coming into this week, Eagles were given a 16th ranking by the Max Preps Poll. That's based on strength of schedule and your head-to-head matchups. So 16 is not something they've been used to seeing in the Max Preps Poll. Oregon Mountain was sitting at number 6 with their 5-1 record. Now the coaches poll, a lot better for the Hobbs Eagles. They were put at number 11.
and Oregon Mountain sitting at number 5. So coaches giving a little bit more respect to the Hobbs Eagles, what they can offer on the court, but that doesn't matter now because they got a game to win here in Las Cruces against Oregon Mountain in this one. About 45 seconds away from second half action. We'll take our final half-a-minute break. Your Hobbs Eagles trail Oregon Mountain 34-29. Stay with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Welcome back to Holiday Hoops action for your Hobbs Eagles and Oregon Mountain here in Las Cruces. About a week or so before, a little less than a week before the Hobbs Eagle Holiday Tournament, of course, at Tasker Arena. Both the boys and girls will be in action. We'll talk a little bit about that at the postgame show, about the teams that are coming. Coach Reeves has had a discussion with the official near the scores table. I'm not sure, maybe he's talking about the arrow possibly not being correct, and he's pointing at one of the players on the court for Oregon Mountain. I'm not sure if that's what he's intending to do, but that's what it looks like. Now we got two officials heading to the scores table. And Coach Reeves is putting up 2 fingers to both the officials. So something about 2. I don't know what 2 is all
11.
about.
Maybe it's 11 because he's been pointing over to 11.
Well, yeah, number 11 is Ethan Coombs. He was the guy in the backcourt. Now Coombs is kind of showing his jersey to the official, but not sure what that was all about. We don't have any microphone there at the scores table. It will be Oregon Mountain basketball at the time stripe to start this third quarter. Nick Pena will start. Pena, Vega, also Turbiatis and Hernandez. Hernandez getting a lot of playing time in this one, proving something to his coaching staff here. Ball's inbounded at the top of the arc, and dribbling around is Coombs. Coombs gives it off on the right wing. Touch pass to the free throw line, had to be chased down by Wilson. Wilson going to the rack with it. Reverse layup on the right side. Tries to throw it back over his head. He gets crumpled underneath the hoop. And the foul call. He's got a quick first step. So we get a chance for a couple of free throws on this one. There's only 4 fouls against Oregon Mountain in the first half and 4 for the Hobbs Eagles. As they get that one against Hobbs, that is Nick Pena, who has just picked up his 3rd personal. On the line is Christian Wilson. Team was 2 of 3 in the first half, all shot by Karras. First one goes up and hits the front of the iron and rolls off. He'll get one more. Second shot is up and good. 5 points for Wilson, 35-29. 6-point lead for Oregon Mountain. The inbound to Pena on the near side. He'll go stop and go as he takes on Patrick De La Jose. Over to Pena to the right wing, down the lane, kicks it to Turbiatis to the free throw line. Jumper is up and good, right through the net. Turbiatis getting a nice follow-through on his shots in this game. He's got 10 points to lead the Eagles. 35-31, a 4-point Oregon Mountain lead. Eagles will pick up on half court on defense as the pass comes across to Patrick De La Jose. In front of the Oregon Mountain bench, left side. Cross court right to Wilson. Drives the paint. One-hand bounce pass to Karras in the left corner. Spots a 3 off the side of the rim, no good. Rebound by Wilson on the right block. Fadeaway jumper as he went across the lane right to left and puts it through the hole high in the air. Fingertip control for Wilson.
Yeah, nice lefty layup.
He's got 7 points now, 37-31. Oregon Mountain by 6. Here comes Pena in the front court right wing on the dribble. Comes up top, uses it up, and then underhands it back to Pena on the far right sideline. In front of the Hobbs bench. Up top to Turbiatis, hands it back to Pena on the give and go. To Turbiatis, top of the circle, wide open for a 3. This one an air ball and a run on the baseline. Had a good look that time as the defense kind of moved over with Pena to the left perimeter. And unfortunately, Turbiatis might have thought in his head somebody was coming after him and just let it short.
Yeah, it just didn't have enough oomph into it to get to the cylinder at all.
Dribbling the ball up the court now, Wilson. Eagles backing up on the defense, half court D. Unloads to Coombs in the front court. At the logo, bounce pass to Karras on the right wing. Turbiatis picks him up, posting up Wilson right block with a spin move. Fadeaway jumper, lefty hook, no good off the left rim, and rebound underneath by Pena, picking up his first rebound. Outlet to the far side, or correction, that was Hernandez to Pena. Hernandez gets a pass coming down the lane, throws up a shot, no good, tries to tip it up, can't get it to drop. Turbiatis goes up with it. He can't put it down as well. It's a lot of tips on that one as Karras gets the rebound. That'll be his 9th of the ball game. Into the front court, stop and go dribble for Karras on the right base, runs into his defender and plows into Turbiatis on the right block for the charge. That'll be his 2nd personal. First team foul against Oregon Mountain here in the 3rd quarter. Good job for Turbiatis to hold his ground there on that block and wait for the blow.
And that is always something that is always cheered by the hometown or the opposing team. Either way, when they take that charge, take one for the team, so to speak, and be able to block that from becoming a point against them.
We should mention Hernandez has 6 rebounds in this ball game to lead the squad. Definitely a good showing for him of getting a start in this game. Nip Pena's going to go the distance. He tries a reverse layup on the right side. It's blocked. Ball loose now and picked away for Oregon Mountain by Wilson. He's going to go to the rack against Turbiatis one-on-one. Lost the ball, picks it back up underneath the hoop and puts a lefty hook over the rim and scores. So Wilson now with 9 points. That will be the Eagles' 5th turnover prior to that. And we're down to 5:20 left, 3rd quarter, 39-31, the biggest lead of the game for Oregon Mountain here in the 3rd. In the front court comes Pena. Gets a screen from Pena, plowing into Pena. They're going to call the moving screen, though. Coach Ross is up yelling at the official that he thought the screen was solid. And that's going to be called against Pena. That's his first personal, 2nd team foul against the Eagles. Beatty going to return for Hobbs. Pena will take a breather. Vega's on the court still. Hernandez, Pena, and Turbiatis. Eagles going man-for-man defense there as the inbound back deep. As coming across the timeline is Coombs. Picked up by Pena. Unloads to the left wing to Wilson. Wilson to Karras in the left corner, guarded by Turbiatis. Wraparound pass to the left elbow to McDaniel. Sends it back deep to Wilson. Shot from the left elbow off the dribble. Gets that quick first step. Beatty backed off and he puts it through the hole on the 15-footer by Wilson from the left side. He's had 7 points in the 3rd. A long pass to the other end is laid up and in on the left side by Vega for the Eagles. That's his 8th point of the game. Hobbs down by 8, 41-33. 4:37 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. They're down by as many as 10 in the 3rd. Into the front court, a spin at the free throw line for Wilson. Turns and fires an off-balance shot, ill-advised. Bounces right back to Pena at the free throw line on the rebound. That's his 2nd. Ahead to Beatty, a shot from the left baseline, 10-footer off the side of the rim. Karras getting up high for the rebound. He's got 10 rebounds now and 16 points, a double-double. Outlet up ahead to the far left sideline to McDaniel. Goes to the rack, lefty layup, no good. Tip back up once, no good. Rebound again for Pack. Goes up strong with 2 hands on the right block, is fouled. Pack with 3 rebounds and a chance for 2 free throws to add on.
Yeah, those offensive rebounds for the Knights are adding up, and they're definitely getting those 2nd and 3rd chance shots, unlike Hobbs, who is not quite getting those. They have had a couple of good shots, but they have not had consistency, and that is part of the problem. Plus the fact that Oregon Knights, as you said, can play with a lead and just maintain it.
First free throw's a brick for Pack, 0 for 1 on the line. That was Beatty's first foul, 3rd team foul against the Eagles, 3-1 foul count at this point. One more attempt here for Pack. So far in the 2nd half, the Knights are 1 for 3 on the line. 2nd shot is up, and it's off the rim as well. No good. Chased down in the right corner for Beatty. That'll be Beatty's first rebound. Sends it ahead to Turbiatis, left corner, front court. He's going to fire up an 18-footer off the front of the rim, no good. Tipped up by Vega from the right block. Can't get it to fall through. Underneath the hoop for the rebound is Jaime Garcia, his 2nd board. Outlet to the far left sideline, coming across with the dribble, Wilson. So he evens it up the distance here, top of the circle against Beatty. Cross over to his left hand, fadeaway jumper, left elbow. Bounces in and out of the rim, no good. Rebound in the paint by Pack, a turnaround jumper off the back of the rim. And there's the Eagles finally getting a rebound. Vega, outlet to Pena on the near sideline. That's Vega's 4th board. Pena gets through traffic, down the lane, reverse layup right with 2 hands, and is rejected hard by Karras. I think he got the ball clean, but he bodied him up from behind, hips into back that time, and the foul. So Pena's been doing a good job of kind of throwing his body after shots, too, to kind of get the eye of the official.
Exactly. You know, you have to do that sometimes, kind of emphasize the fact that this doesn't look right, and it should be called a foul, and sometimes you got to give the official a little bit of help.
That should have been a foul on Karras. Scoreboard said somebody else, but that's going to be his 3rd personal. Free throw is up and good for Pena. That's his 4th free throw attempt in this game. He's made all 4, now has 10 points. So tying up with Turbiatis for leading scorer at this point. There's only been 2 free throw shooters in the game. 4 for 4 for Pena, 0 for 2 for Beatty. So 4 for 6 as a team.
Take advantage of those freebies.
Second shot up and good for Pena. He's got 11 points to lead the Eagles, 41-35. Hobbs down by 6. Oregon Mountain basketball with 3:25 left, third quarter. Coming across the timeline is De La Houssaye to the top of the circle. Unloads the ball to Karras on the right wing, guarded by David, who just checked in. Fakes a jumper, gives it back behind him on the right side to Washington for the 3. And the net's going to rack up on top of the iron that time after the swish, as Wilson nails the big tray. That's his first tray of the ball game. Third tray of the game for Oregon Mountain. 44-35, a 9-point lead for the Knights. 3 minutes remaining in the third. Beatty in the front court on the crossover move with 3. Gives it off to Beatty, or make that Pena in the near side. Dribbles to the free throw line, gets tied up for a second. They're going to call a hack foul. He's trying to get the jump ball, but on top of the arm, Lenny Washington. That'll be his first, and the third team foul against the Knights. Both teams with 3 fouls here in the third quarter. And a substitution for Coach Ross/Reeves as Clay comes back on the court for the Eagles. Beatty will inbound on the left baseline. As we get some rotation in the paint, looks like a hold foul underneath as Pena tried to get through the lane. He got held from behind. They're going to call that one against Patrick De La Houssaye. That's his first and the 14th foul. So the Eagles are 1 foul away from being in double bonus with almost 3 minutes left in the third.
And they could take advantage of that, definitely.
Once again, Beatty to inbound left baseline, looking for some help. Couple of fakes, and now throws it back deep to Clay on the near side line, left side. Gets a screen up top from Turbiatis, gives it back to Pena at the timeline, comes left with it in front of the ref on the left side. Stop and go, spin move, left wing. Double team, tries to go through his legs, and is stripped away by Patrick De La Houssaye. That's his 6th turnover. They throw it up court, and a layup on the right side and a foul as Venegas lays it in for 2 for 10 points total and a chance for a 3-point play. He was shoved in from behind. They count the basket and the foul against the Eagles. That'll be their 4th as a team. And we'll see who they get that one against on the extended arms that time. The official scores table now is calling the referee over to make sure they got the call right.
And unfortunately for that, the offensive difference, that's a 5-point difference that Hobbs could have had. They could have gotten 2 instead. They lost 3, possibly 3.
Turbiatis' second foul, again, 4th foul on the Eagles. 46-35, the biggest lead is 11, could be 12, and it is on the switch on the free throw as putting it through to extend it to 11. So Coombs getting a 3-point play on that one. Or actually, it was at Venegas that scored that, I believe. Yeah, it was Venegas.
Timeout.
Timeout on the court, and we're going to take one as well. 2:27 left here in the third. A 12-point lead for Oregon Mountain, their biggest of the ball game, over the Hobbs Eagles. We'll be back in 30 seconds live on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Back here to the third quarter in Las Cruces. Your Hobbs Eagles trail Oregon Mountain 47-35. We should mention, Ron, their top scorer for the Knights, Brandon Karras, has yet to score in this third quarter. He had 16 at the half, though, so Hobbs is doing a pretty good job on him, as we talked about they would be discussing at halftime.
Yeah, they've been doing well with the top scorers, but another one always steps up and feels that need.
Pena comes in the front court, handoff to Coombs on the handoff, or make that handoff to Beatty, I should say. They have a travel, little stutter step there, and that will be a turnover for the Eagles, their 7th of the contest. Still trailing by 12 with 2:19 left here in the third. We mentioned Karras, he is the leading scorer, has 16 for Oregon Mountain. Your top scorer for the Eagles, 11 for Pena and 10 for Turbiatis. Coming across the timeline with the dribble is Wilson. Comes down the lane, no look pass to Karras, left corner, wide open for a 3, clinks off the left rim, no good, gets his own rebound, goes back up with his left hand, can't get the drop, goes up again on the right side of the glass for a couple of rebounds, and then he slaps at the rebound from David and the foul. So Karras with his 12th rebound. David comes up with one for the Eagles underneath. and that will be his first of the ball game. And as against Karras, that's his third personal.
And half the team is on one side, half the team is on the other. They really realize that's a shooting foul because they're in bonus now.
Yeah, double bonus for the Eagles, a 15th foul on Organ Mountain via the new rules. That puts David on the line for the first time in this ball game. And in terms of free throw shooting this season, he's at 60%. Didn't get a chance to shoot last night in that game against Mayfield. David trying to get his first point of the ball game, or hopefully two. Misses the first one off the back of the rim. So he's just the third free throw shooter in this game. Eagles are 5 of 8 from the line. A little bit different than what we saw last night. They were 10 of 11 for 90%. Second shot for David, hard off the back of the rim, doesn't get that one to go through. And there's Karras once again for another rebound. He's in double digits, double-double in this ball game. 13 rebounds and 16 points. 47-35, a 12-point Organ Mountain lead with 1:50 left third. Into the front court. Stop and shot from the left side. 15-footer is an air ball by Venegas. Chased down on the right baseline. Shot on the way for Patrick De La Jose. Cannot get it to drop, but it's tipped back up and in for Karras on the left block. No, actually that was a different guy underneath. De La Jose was underneath Karras that time for the score and his third rebound. 49-35, Eagles down by 14. David's going to throw up a three from the right corner and nails it. Nice follow through for the big kid, putting it through for the Eagles. Down on that right side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Hobbs now with 3 trays. It's 49-38, an 11-point game. Driving the lane, reverse layup on the right side. High off the glass is Wilson with some fingertip control in the air that time as he puts it through the hole. He's got 16, second leading scorer for Organ Mountain. Back to a 13-point lead. Biggest of the game here for Organ Mountain. In the front court, bounce pass from Clay to Beatty on the right wing. Slings it over to Pena on the left side. NBA 3 on the way off the front of the rim, though. No good. Near sideline right for the rebound for Venegas, his 4th. Outlet with a cross quarter over to De La Jose. He'll find Karras on the left side, 18-footer, and swishes it. David got a hand in his face, but Karras still puts it through the hole. He's got 18. 53-38, a 15-point lead. Biggest of the game for Organ Mountain. In the front court, pass off to David, right corner, another 3 shot. Bouncing around the rim a couple of times, no good. Beatty will pull it down at the free throw line, goes up reverse layup, right side and scores. Nice weave job there for Beatty, 5 points and 2 rebounds. 53-40, Organ Mountain by 13 with 15 seconds left in the quarter. This thing has lasted quite a bit of time here in the second half.
That was a nice basketball move by Beatty. I thought he had been stopped for a second.
Fadeaway 3 at the top of the circle. NBA distance for Wilson on a fade and puts it through for a second tray in the third quarter, and that will end the third as well. 56-40 as Wilson drills that tray home. A 14-point lead, or make it 16-point lead for Organ Mountain at the end of 3. We'll take a 60-second break and come back with more Hobbs Eagle Hoops live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Get ready to start the fourth quarter here in Las Cruces. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you. Tiffany Stuber back to the station. Your Hobbs Eagles trail by 16 to Organ Mountain, 56-40. The Knights are led with 19 for Yanni Wilson. He's got 2 3-pointers back in the third quarter, and 18 for Brandon Karras. Also another double-digit scorer in Venegas with 11. For your Hobbs Eagles, 2 in double digits. Pena with 11 and Turbiatis with 10. We start the fourth quarter with Pena with the basketball in the backcourt. As he comes across the timeline against Coombs, slings it up top to Vega, who we haven't seen for kind of a bit of time here. Returns back to Pena at the time strike. Stop and go, dribbling through his legs. Gets the screen right from David. Hard dribble to the right corner. Flips it back up to David. He's open for a 3. This one clinks off the front of the rim. Long rebound in transition. And that is Wilson with his third board. Goes back door, reverse layup, knocked to the ground is Coombs as he tried to throw it towards the rim. And he got hip checked on that one. Foul against the Eagles, their first of the fourth quarter.
And it was on the shot, so he will go on the line for 2.
And that's going to be against Malachi David, his first. So on the line will be Coombs, yet to score in this game, yet to shoot a free throw either. So he's trying to get himself in the scorebook. They've had 7 scores so far, and Coombs makes his first point of the ball game on the first free throw. Hobbs with 6 scores at this point. Fisher at the scores table now is got his thumb out here and clearing the lane for some reason. Wait, no, they're sitting the teams to the benches. I'm not sure what this is all about. All 3 officials going to the scores table and have sent both teams to the benches. I'm not sure what the problem is here. We'll take a quick 30-second break. 7:34 left, fourth quarter. It's Oregon Mountain 56, your Hobbs Eagles 40. We'll try to find out what's going on next here on the Hobbs Eagle Network. We're back live here in Las Cruces, an official timeout. Both teams were sent to the bench, Hobbs and Oregon Mountain. We have 2 officials at the table with both coaches, Gonzalez and for the Hobbs Eagles, Coach Reeves. Actually, that's the assistant coach out there. Not even supposed to have the assistant coach at the table, the new rule in the NMAA. But so anyway, we think it's a book issue. I think what happened at the beginning of this second half here, Coach Reeves is out on the court pointing at a player and kind of signaling numbers or something. We thought that's what we thought it was about. Seemed that was cleared up, but now we're into the fourth quarter and a stoppage of play. I've not really seen where they've actually sent 2 teams to the bench after nothing really bad has happened on the court. It wasn't a brawl or a fight or anything. But
unless there's something on the floor which has not been indicated.
No, they've been at the scores table, hunched over the table, 2 of the referees here. Now, they can, if it's a ruling about a player, maybe quarters that they play, that's really not something the referees can make a ruling on because the evidence is kind of quirky. I mean, usually have a separate book for JV, and it's not like a court where you're going to ask for books and do all that persecution and all that. But the question is, we don't know what the question is at this point.
At this point, it was the player in question was on the line. We haven't done the free throws, or at least had them counted, so there may be a correlation between that and the player number 11.
Yeah, I definitely don't know what's going on here. It looks like they're sending our JV coach to the locker room, which kind of indicates to me they might be going to get the scorebook from the JV game. I hate to speculate. There's been a long delay here. Coach Reeves brought this to the ref's attention, I think, at the beginning of the third. We're just kind of watching body language and him coming out on the court, signaling numbers. The assistant coach keeps bringing paperwork back to the scores table. This is kind of unprecedented. Usually it's kind of tough to prove how many quarters somebody's played without having both books on the table. But they cleared the whole lane, which I don't understand that.
I know. And now they're going ahead and just saying, nobody on the lane. Get him again, and we'll see if that first one counted or if he's going to have to shoot it again.
Ethan Combs is on the lane, or is at the free throw line himself with nobody in the paint. There, I was right. Our JV coach is bringing the scorebook back from the locker room right now. So it's got to be. Is somebody questioning a Hobbs player? Because why would they clear the lane? Because this is an advantage for Oregon Mountain. So they must have called a tech on the Eagles. Didn't see it signaled, but this is way a question up in the air.
Right. This is furthering the kind of division between what's been going on in the first half and the second half.
Now, they got the second free throw there for Coombs. He'd already shot one. Now they're giving a tech. There's the first free throw of the tech. So we didn't actually see. Yeah. No, he already had the 2 free throws. These are the techs now. So now he's getting another one here. So that's 4 free throws here for Ethan Coombs, 2 on a foul and 2 on a tech. Misses the 4th one. I really question what's going on with this, and they're going to have to had something to do with the scorebook and players and numbers and who played quarters, I think. Just speculation completely on this, but 58-40 your score with 7:34 remaining. It's going to be a half-court inbound after the technical foul. Again, we don't know exactly what that was, whether against the team or what, but that will be also a team foul, I believe. Yep, they have 2 on the Eagles. Hobbs make that Oregon Mountain basketball as they sling it around the perimeter. Coombs on the left wing. Throws it back deep to Wilson. Wilson going to hold it to move the 1-3-1 zone for the Eagles. Back to the right side to Delahouche. Tries to throw it back door on the left of the lane and take it away by Turbiatis. The 5th turnover for Oregon Mountain. Hands it off to Pena, now quickly in the front court off the dribble. Crossover move. Shot from the left elbow is on the way and right through the threads. Beautiful shot for Pena. He's got 13. 58-42, a 16-point ball game. 6:50 remaining. Oregon Mountain has the ball. They go throw it around the perimeter to the right wing to Wilson. Back deep to the timeline to Coombs. Coombs will bounce it to Wilson on the right side once again. Down to the right baseline to Karras. Fires to the free throw line and a shot on the way for Venegas off the back of the rim. And Hernandez there for the rebound for the Eagles. His 7th of the contest. Goes ahead to Vega. Tries to pass up the near sideline. Gets rejected on the pass. And like I say, it was knocked off the hands of Wilson as it's put off to the near sideline.
Yeah, luckily they were close enough to where they went out of bounds for the Oregon Mountains, or Oregon Mountain Knights. And the ball is returned. We've got the action going on for the Hobbs Eagles as they shoot a 3, and it just comes off the front of the rim.
Rebound for Oregon Mountain as coming across the timeline after the rebound is Patrick Delahouche, his 4th. Goes underneath the hoop, left block, double clutch, going up strong with it on the left block, and off the glass is Venegas. He's got 13. We'll talk about what the tech was for here in just a minute as the assistant AD, Jeremy Soria, just came up and talked to us, coming back from the table to find out what was going on down there. On the near sideline, Beatty with the ball, throws it up top to Turbiatis, drives the lane, lost the ball as he tried to bring it up high, and it sails out of bounds on the baseline. That will be a turnover for the Eagles, their 8th. Now what they're saying is that Malachi David played too many quarters with JV combined with the varsity. Mr. Soria says that is definitely not the case. He only played 1 quarter in the JV, and the other team, Oregon Mountain, was claiming 2, so discrepancy on books, and definitely cost the Eagles some big points and the ball on the tech foul there, as now there's an 18-point lead on the scoreboard. Oregon Mountain basketball as the pass comes the right wing to Coombs. Swung over to the left side to McDaniel. Back deep to the timeline to Delahouche, to the right wing to Coombs. Coombs will find the big man Karras on the right block. Sends it back deep to run some clock here. We just got the perimeter passing game around the 3-point arc, and holding it now at the timeline is Coombs. Coombs finds McDaniel right side, 15-footer off the back of the rim, no good. Vega pulls it down on the left block. He gets his arm ripped quickly by Delahouche, so that will be a foul as Vega just picked up his 5th rebound of the ball game. And they call that foul, as I mentioned, on Delahouche. That's his 2nd. First team foul for Oregon Mountain here in the 4th quarter. 5:10 remaining in the 4th, 60-42. Oregon Mountain up by 18. Payne in the front court. Over to the right wing to Beatty. Fakes a pass, dribbles to the free throw line. Back deep to Hernandez. Swing it left side to Vega. To Turbiatis on the right perimeter with the jab step. To Beatty right corner. Fakes a shot, drives baseline. Windmill layup underneath the hoop and tries to scoop it over the top, but they call the foul. Ball came off to the right, and he'll get a chance for 2 free throws. That'll be the 2nd team foul on Oregon Mountain, as Beatty will get a chance to shoot 2. Beatty is 0 for 2 from the line so far. They charge that one to Karras, his 4th personal. He's 1 away from being DQ'd, and he's got 18 points, 2nd leading scorer for the Knights.
Hobbs, though, still needs to rev it up a little bit with under 5 minutes to go in this game. They need to get into the scoring column quickly and also get on defense and be able to stop the Knights from continuing to score.
Beatty has 5 points. Does have a tray in the game. Trying to get his first free throw of the contest. Shot is up and good. Substitution coming in for the Knights to get Karras off the court with those 4 fouls. Ethan Pack. One more opportunity for Beatty. Don't forget, next game for the Hobbs Eagles will be on Thursday night at 8 o'clock around that time for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Talk about that in the post game. Second shot for Beatty is up, and it is good. Got both of them. He's got 7 points. 60-44. Oregon Mountain by 16 with 4:55 remaining in the 4th. A couple of bounce passes in the backcourt. Stolen by Payne now on the left side of the arc in the backcourt. Now the front court for the Eagles, and he is fouled quickly. Oregon Mountain's 6th turnover of the ball game as they get the foul call against Ethan Coombs, his 1st, 3rd team foul against Oregon Mountain. Not enough for the double bonus yet. Beatty will inbound here on the left sideline. As waiting for the bounce pass from the official here. I don't know what he was waiting for. Saw a couple of screens, I think. Pass up top to Vega on the shot. In and out for the three-point range. Rebound on the far left side. Pulled down by McDaniel, his first rebound. Dribbles the ball right into Vega's foot. They're going to say Vega kicked it. I don't think that was intentional. That is part of the rule. You actually have to kick your foot out to try to stop it to be called that. And it looked like the ball was just dribbled right off his foot there by McDaniel.
Yeah, it was down. Of course, they were trying to get after it. They ran, and as soon as he stepped forward, it was considered a kick.
Yeah, he looked like he bounced that right into his foot that time. So really that's just a let it go type of play. Inbound to McDaniel in the backcourt, taking on Vega through the timeline, dribbling through his legs. Throws it back deep again to De La Houssaye, far left side, near the timeline as well. Wraparound pass to the left elbow to Coombs, drives the lane with the hook shot, rejected by Turbiatis with the rebound after that, is knocked to the floor, and comes up with the big board there. That's his 6th rebound of the ball game. He has 10 points, so he's trying to work on that double-double if he can. Hobbs basketball on their baseline in the backcourt, though. They'll have to go the distance. Down by 16 with 4:23 remaining, and it looks like a timeout called for Organ Mountain. So the Eagles going to have to dig themselves out of a 16-point hole. They've had some good quarters of basketball. Kind of got deflated with the tech and all that going on here in the 4th quarter. But we'll be back in 30 seconds live on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
Welcome back to the Castle Las Cruces, where the Knights of Organ Mountain are facing your Hobbs Eagles, and it is a tough uphill battle for them, as it is now 60-44 with like 5 minutes to go in the game. Here we go with Ty.
Yeah, a close game too earlier, Ron. I mean, Hobbs is up by 4, 23-19. Halftime it went to 34-29 Organ Mountain, so they outscored the Eagles 15-6 in that second quarter. Third quarter, it was Organ Mountain 22-11. That's when the lead started to go very much far in the advantage of Organ Mountain. The fourth quarter, of course, the tech really deflated the issue there, but the Eagles trying to get back in this one. Payne with the basketball with 4:20 remaining, down by 16. Goes into the front court to Vega, top of the circle, tries to swing over to Beatty on the right side. It's stolen away, and then a foul from behind as Beatty tries to regain it back from Emmett McDaniel. That was a turnover for the Eagles, their 9th. Beatty will pick up the foul, which will be his second for a 3rd team foul on the Eagles. So no double bonus yet. Organ Mountain basketball on the far left sideline. The inbound to the backcourt. Completed to Coombs. Coming back to get it is Yenny Wilson. Goes it across the timeline to De La Houssaye on the right wing and back to Wilson at the time stripe. Far right sideline against Beatty. Eagles with an extended 2-3 zone. Return it back right wing to De La Houssaye. Deep to Wilson at the timeline to De La Houssaye on the right wing. A yo-yo passing game going on. Wilson to get the ball again at the timeline. No-look pass back to the left side to Coombs. Bounce it back to Wilson at the time stripe again. The pass to the right wing by De La Houssaye to the corner. He'll spin out of the defense of Turbiatis, and now Beatty a double team. Back to Wilson at the timeline. To the left corner to Coombs. Arches the ball towards the timeline, stolen away by Beatty, the 7th turnover. Beatty tries to drive the lane, lost the ball, picks it up. Wraparound pass in the paint is stolen back again by Organ Mountain. Just waiting for it that time was Yenny Wilson. So 8 turnovers for Organ Mountain and 10 for the Hobbs Eagles. Pass to the timeline as De La Houssaye brings it across. He lost the ball at the strip from behind. A pass up to Beatty behind his back on the dribble, throws up a layup, is fouled from behind, knocked down on the floor on the baseline. And that'll be a chance for 2 free throws for Beatty. So he's been on the line the last couple of possessions. He's been taking it hard to the rack.
He has been definitely taking it hard to the rack, and he's also been hammered at the rack as he's trying to get some in. Hasn't had like 1 out of 3 of those shots that go in, but still has some pretty good chances of getting some more points as he gets on the charity stripe.
That's the 9th turnover for Organ Mountain. So Beatty has made his last 2 free throws for the Eagles, 2 for 4, and now make it 3 of 5 as he makes another one. He's got 6 or make it 5 points here in the fourth quarter. Total of 8 in the ball game. Leading scorer for Hobbs, sitting at 13, Abraham Pena, and 10 for Turbiatis. Pena scored 1 bucket here in the fourth. Turbiot is yet to get in the scorebook yet in the finale quarter. 3:10 remaining, 60-45. Hard shot off the back of the rim on the second for Beatty, and pulled down on the right elbow for Oregon Mountain by Brandon Karras. He's got 14 rebounds in the game. Throws it across the timeline to dribble to Wilson. Goes backdoor with it. Karras tries to go up with a dunk with the right hand, and Hernandez coming from the other side of the lane, the left, and trying to block that shot. Karras took a tumble, but I think he would have tried to dunk on that one.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he did, but unfortunately for Hobbs, it turned out to be a foul.
That will be the 14th foul on the Eagles, but a shooting foul, though. Karras is on the line. He is 2 of 3. Hasn't shot since the first quarter and makes the free throw there. Only has 3 points here in the second half, but you mentioned other guys have stepped up like Yenny Wilson, who's got 19.
Yeah, they did. Fortunately for Hobbs, they're in the bonus from now on, but I don't think that's going to help them too much.
Second free throw, hard at the back of the rim. Turbiot sky high for the rebound. His 7th board of the ball game. Gives it off to Pena. Hard dribble in the front court through 2 defenders to the free throw line. Turns and fires a J and puts it through the hole. Pena now make it 15 points, 61-47, down to a 14-point game. Eagles have whittled off 4 off that 18-point lead here in the fourth. Hard dribble to the left baseline. McDaniel throws it back deep to the time stripe to Coombs. Coombs to Wilson, still at the half-court line. Stop and go. Takes it to the rack, and he goes to the tomahawk jam over the right side of the rim. NBA style there for Wilson. He's got 21 to lead both teams. 63-47, a 16-point lead for Oregon Mountain. And Coach Ross, in the ear of the official, wants a timeout. 60-second timeout for the Eagles as they trail by 16, 63-47. 2:18 left in the fourth. Let's take a quick 30-second break and come back with more Hobbs Eagle Hoops action. (63-47). Your Hobbs Eagles trailing Oregon Mountain by 16 here in the fourth quarter. Live in Las Cruces. Final game before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament next week on Thursday. We'll have the coverage of both the girls and the boys. Boys on here on Cool 95.7 on the internet as well. And the Hobbs Lady Eagles on 100.5 the Eagle plus the internet. Ron, let's talk about our sponsors for Hobbs Eagle basketball this season.
Yeah, once again, we'd like to thank Lasco Construction, TDS, Forest Tire, Lee County State Bank, Hobbs Express, Elite Home Healthcare, First American Bank of Hobbs, Innomar Pipeline, and Thriftway. Thank you.
Sub coming in for the Hobbs Eagles during the timeout. Lyric Soria seeing his first action. Had some time last night. Inbound to Pena for 3 at the top of the arc. Nothing but net. Abraham Pena with 7 points in this fourth quarter, and he has 18 overall to lead the Eagles 63-50, down to a 13-point margin. Pass into the front court to the free throw line. A sailing one for McDaniels. He got the ball at the free throw line and tried to throw it to Karras on the right wing, but sends it to the stands for the turnover for Oregon Mountain. That is their 10th of the ball game. 63-50. Hobbs down by 13 with 1:58 remaining in the game. It'll be Soria to inbound. Deep left corner of the backcourt. Looking for some help here. And gets it back deep as Eagles going to try to break this press. Give it to Josiah Clay. Stop and go. Wilson getting away at the reach. Down to Hernandez in the left corner, front court. Hand off behind to Pena. Spins, gives it back to Hernandez left wing, up top to a wide open Clay for 3 off the back of the rim. Loose in the right corner, trying to save it behind his back for Oregon Mountain was Jaime Garcia, but they're going to say he stepped on the baseline first. Hobbs will get underneath their hoop. And Parker Henderson going to see his first action in this ball game with 1:39 left in the fourth. And it looks like Oregon Mountain's going to send in an send in a player as well on the sub, and that is Ray Venegas. Of course, he's got 13 so far in the contest. Inbound right corner to Clay, drives baseline right side, windmill layup off the back of the rim, no good. Henderson misses the first tip, puts it up again a third time, and can't get it to drop. He continues to try to battle, but unfortunately couldn't get it in to go in the hole. Karras will bring it to the front court after his 15th rebound. Cross court left to Wilson, sends it back to the timeline to Coombs. Back to Wilson on the left side perimeter, spins and pulls out of the defense, comes back at him, and cross courts into Karras on the right side with 1:10 remaining. Back deep to Wilson at the timeline left, Touch pass down to the left corner to Venegas. Drives left baseline. Reverse layup on the right side and scores off the glass. Venegas with 15 points. 65-50, a 15-point lead for the Knights. 55 seconds remaining. Pena goes into the front court. Fadeaway jumper from the right side from 15. It's an air ball, but he got pushed. And he'll get a couple of free throws on this one. They'll charge that to Yenny Wilson, his first. That'll be the 14th foul against Oregon Mountain. Actually, their fifth. He's double bonus for the rest of the game as Pena will get a chance for 2 free throws. He's perfect, 5 for 5 from the charity stripe. Pena last night was also 3 for 4, so he's had a good free throw shooting couple of nights.
First one hits net and gets another point for the Hobbs Eagles.
19 now for Pena to lead the Eagles.
Could go for 20 right now.
Second shot up and good, as you mentioned. He gets them both. And now it's 65-52, back to a 13-point game in favor of Oregon Mountain. Wilson with the basketball gets a double team. Cross court right in the backcourt. Coming across with it is Coombs. Coming back to get the pass at the timeline, McDaniel. And sends it to the far left side to Jaime Garcia. Stop and go dribble against Turbiates. Backs it out in front of the Oregon Mountain bench, left wing. 30 seconds remaining in the game. Underhands it back to the timeline to McDaniel. Swings it to the right side to Coombs, and they're going to have a reach foul. That'll stop the clock with 24 seconds left, and that will be the 5th foul, so it'll be a double bonus for Oregon Mountain. Chance to shoot the 2.
Yeah, the Knights, no urgency at all, but they don't need to either. They can just run out the clock and get this victory.
Foul charge to Abraham Pena, his second, and that will put on the line for Oregon Mountain Ethan Combs. All of his points have been free throws. He's 3 of 4 from the charity stripe here in the second half, and he makes another there. In fact, all 4 of his points on free throws in the fourth quarter. He was the one that was shooting right before that tech happened, so he had a ton of free throws a string there earlier in the fourth quarter. 24 seconds left, 66-52. He makes them both. He's got 5 points, 67-52. 23 seconds left in the ball game, although the clock has not run yet. They've left it sitting at 24.1.
And now they noticed it.
So
now it's down to 17. It could be caught up.
How in the heck did they figure out that already? They down to 17. It was at 24 solid, and then all of a sudden they changed it to 17 without the officials even telling them. Now they're going to probably discuss this, and they have one official at the table now. I don't think the clock will figure out how much it's not run off there, and now it's down to 20. So somebody just flipped it to 17 without even being told by the officials. That's kind of a question mark there. Payton gets the inbound with the crossover move, shot from the top of the arc, in and out for the 3. Henderson goes up and scores out the 2-hand putback. So Henderson now with 4 rebounds and 2 points, 67-54. Oregon Mountain by 13. Bounce pass up the near sideline to Wilson. He throws an alley-oop before the buzzer. That will run out the clock. So 67-54 is the final as the Hobbs Eagles lose to Oregon Mountain. They will drop to 3-5. Oregon Mountain improves to 6-1. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagles postgame show on the radio at Cool 95.7, on the internet, hobbsamerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Back live here in Las Cruces, the Hobbs Eagle postgame show here as the Eagles unfortunately losing to Organ Mountain 67-54. Ron, a lot closer game earlier, especially in the first half where the Eagles had that lead in the first quarter, 23-19. We're down by 5 at the half, 34-29. Eagles extended 11-point extended lead for Organ Mountain, adding 11 more than what they had in the second quarter, as they continued to take a double-digit lead over the Eagles. In the fourth quarter, kind of lackluster with the technical foul, etc. Organ Mountain finished up with 22 points. They ended up with 11 points in the fourth quarter. The Hobbs Eagles getting 14, so did get some production there late. But just got kind of a difference between halves here in terms of what we saw energy-wise in the first half compared to the second half.
It was more just like with yesterday, too. Seems like Hobbs in the first half of the game yesterday could not buy a shot. Second half, they were having a lot more luck, at least in the third quarter, fourth quarter. They struggled a little bit more. The same thing today. They were having a good run in the first half, especially in the first quarter. Second quarter, they did a little bit of a backward step as far as production, but they did a pretty good job overall of holding the lead in the first half. Second half, Organ Mountain just pressed the gas and just kept on going. Unfortunately, that tech shots or those shots did not help the situation for the Eagles, but other than that, I thought they played very well. They were consistent. They kept their level head. They tried the best they could. They were putting up some shots towards the end that could be questionable. But on the other hand, when you're having trouble getting any open shots at all, you take what you can get. And I understand that sometimes, you don't always get what you want as far as your shot put in. They were just so close, but not quite there. And then, of course, unfortunately, they weren't able to get those rebounds like they wanted to, not those second chance points. Organ Mountain, on the other hand, not only did they get those second chance points in the third quarter, but they also were pretty much just trying to burn the clock out in the fourth quarter because they knew they had a victory. As long as they kept the ball out of the hands of the Eagles, they just needed to run out the clock and go into victory formation.
So they get the 6-1 record to Organ Mountain, and your Hobbs Eagles now at 3-5. Let's look at the numbers in this ball game. 3 in double digits for Organ Mountain. The leader was Yanai Wilson with 21 points. He put in 2 3-pointers, was 1 of 2 from the line, and had 3 rebounds in the contest, plus that big tomahawk dunk there in the fourth quarter. Brandon Karras, a double-double today, 19 points and 15 rebounds. Again, he is their leading scorer. He was 3 of 5 from the charity stripe for 60%. And Raven Agus also in double digits with 15 points. He was 1 of 1 from the line and had 4 rebounds. So those 3 guys combining for 55 of the total points in this game that Organ Mountain was able to put through of their 67. So pretty much domination with those 3 guys. After that, a major drop-off. In fact, the last 4 scorers on the in the books were all just single buckets. De La Salle had a bucket for 2, Garcia 2, Washington 2, and Pack 2. So not a lot of distribution after those top 3 guys put it through. Actually, Ethan Coombs did have 5 points, but all his were free throws. He was 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. As a team, though, free throw shooting 10 of 16 for 62%. They did out-rebound the Eagles 34-29 in this game. Again, Brandon Cajeras, he was the dominant man on the glass with 15 and a couple of 4s for Pack and Venegas on the boards, as well as De La Salle had 4 for the Knights. They did have 10 turnovers in the game, which was the same amount as the Hobbs Eagles. Looking at the Hobbs Eagles side of the coin, they had 20 from Abraham Pena. He was perfect on the charity stripe in this game, 7 of 7, and had 2 rebounds and had 1 3-pointer converted as well for the Hobbs Eagles scoring cause. Jairus Turbiatis finished with 10 points, had 7 rebounds. He was tied with Hernandez with 7 boards as well. Braddock Beatty coming off the bench for 8 points. He went 3 for 4, or make that 3 of 6 from the charity stripe, 3 of 4 in the fourth quarter, and had 2 rebounds for Hobbs. Braylon Vega finished with 8 points, with 6 points in the first quarter alone. Kind of a quiet second half for them, though, and he was actually on the bench for a little bit of time there in the second half of action, but still just a sophomore and really a big part of the Hobbs Eagles scoring, currently second on the team in point production. Malachi David finished up with a 3-pointer
for 3 points. Parker Henderson, coming off the bench in the fourth quarter, had 2 points and 4 rebounds total for the Hobbs Eagles. Javen Hernandez, who got a starter role today, ended up with a 3-pointer for 3 points and 7 rebounds. So definitely showing his coach that he's going to be part of the stats for the Hobbs Eagles and getting a lot more playing time as we progress. Hobbs finishing up with 7 scores in this game. They were 10 of 15 from the charity stripe for 66%. Did finish with 29 rebounds, 5 less than Oregon Mountain. The leader was Turbiatis and Hernandez, both with 7, and Vega finishing up with 5 boards. Parker Henderson with 4. Again, even on turnovers, which is kind of what we saw in this game. A lot of even play up until the last part of the game, though. Both teams with 10 turnovers in the contest. And we should also mention even on three-pointers today, Oregon Mountain with 4 and the Hobbs Eagles with 4, Ron.
Yeah, and we love the fact that early production, they got those doubles. We were talking about last year with the playoff game where Hobbs was unable to get those three-point shots, whether they were making them or not. Don't know for sure. I can't remember. I know it was a hectic game either way, and Oregon Mountain had about 7 3-point shots last season. So, yeah, it's good. You know, it's hard to face a team, especially after a night of playing like they did, Hobbs did, and coming back in the afternoon, being able to play this team that is tough. We know they're tough. They've been tough for the last 4 out of 5 games. That's the reason why Hobbs has lost them. Now it's 5 out of 6. So Hobbs needs to regroup, find out what they did wrong, fix that problem, and be able to enter into the Hobbs Holiday Tournament with some determination, some strut, and also a lot of encouragement as far as their attitude. They need to get in here and know that they can win and definitely take it over for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament.
Yeah, of course, you got to remember, too, Oregon Mountain was in the semifinals last year, only losing by 2 to the eventual champion Volcano Vista. So that definitely, with some of their guys returning, including Harris out here, Harris that we saw tonight with the big point production, very formidable team, and it will continue to be this year. Well, we got the Hobbs Holiday Tournament starting up on Thursday next week, and the first team on the list for the Eagles, Ferris, Texas. They are under 500 right now with a 7-11 record. They've already started their district, though, and they are 0-1 there. So that's the first one up for the Eagles. That will be Thursday night around 8 o'clock. Not for sure when exactly it'll start because we got a bunch of games before that, including the Hobbs Lady Eagles. But again, it's kind of hard to really get a good feel for a lot of these Texas teams, especially the ones that don't live right on the west border there that we used to seeing, like Midland, Odessa, Permian, and some of those. And we went to that Lubbock tournament, which was a good taste of some of the action there. But
exactly.
So they're under 500 at this point, and their last game that they played was against a private school from Waxahachie, Texas. Lost to them by 14. That was on the 19th of December, 47-33. So we're going to get some more thoughts about them as we take a look at some research on what they've done this season, but that is the first one on the list. And, of course, last year the Hobbs Eagles had to face Oregon Mountain in the first round of the Hobbs Holiday Tournament after losing to them on their own floor about 12 days before that at Tasker Arena. So they ended up playing Oregon Mountain 3 times. At least this time we got a fresh opponent on the court in front of the Hobbs Eagle fans. And
the fact that they lost that first round, they had to go to and face Ferris, who were not doing very well. Hobbs ended up winning that game. The final was 66-56. Not a big win, but still a win nevertheless. So they are 1-0 in this series against this Ferris team. So it's going to be interesting to see if Hobbs can bounce back after these 2 games and hit the road running as far as getting some scoring, getting some points, and being able to play like Hobbs knows they can play.
So, and we were talking about some of the other teams that are at the tournament this year. I mean, there's some good people that are going to be making it to the roster of the games. I mean, lots of contests. And we have to remember, too, the Hobbs Lady Eagles are trying to get a tournament championship as well.
Exactly. And, I know that Volcano Vista is going to be part of that, as well as a few others, both boys and the girls. In fact, actually, it's going to be for the boys. We're going to see Artesia, Cleveland High, Farmington High. We're also going to see Ferris, as you know. That's going to be our first round opponent. Centennial, Hershey, as well as Volcano Vista, like I said. And that's for the boys. For the girls, it's going to be Ironwood Ridge, El Dorado, Farmington, Ferris High, Centennial, Pedia Vista, and, of course, Piedra Vista and Volcano Vista. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The girls look like they're going to be strong this year, as they always are under Joey Carpenter. He always is able to get his rotation, whether it be bench or starters. You never know who's on there because they play so well. But on the other side of the guys, they're going to have to play really strong. They're going to have to do what they did today, take it to 4 quarters and be able to outlast the other opponent.
You mentioned 3 of those teams in the Hobbs Holiday Tournament mix. Volcano Vista is the state champs from last year. Farmington currently ranked 3rd in the Max Preps poll at 8-0. Cleveland at 5-1 is currently 4th in the Max Preps poll. So lots of tough teams coming into that tournament. I think that's probably one of the better tournaments we've seen, at least in New Mexico opponents coming here. Artesia has been a tough 4A squad the last couple seasons too, but really seeing that the mix of those New Mexico teams coming in, that's really good to see. Now the outside state teams, still a question mark. We'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. But again, I think it's good to see some other 6A squads out of New Mexico and see what they have to offer. I know a lot of times you don't like to tip your hand early before district schedule, but still, put it to the metal here. Maybe Hobbs will get a chance to take on one of these top teams. 3 of them in the top 5 in the Max Preps poll, which tells you something about the quality this year.
Yeah, and we used to be able to get some really top-tier teams from Oklahoma, some from Arizona. We only got one this year on the girls' side. So it's interesting to see what kind of different styles of basketball we can look forward to seeing throughout the tournament. Of course, it's going to be those 3 days. You get to watch them all, and you can just watch, of course, the local Hobbs Eagles. Well, however you want to do it. And it is definitely going to be not boring, definitely going to be fun, and it's going to be full of energy.
Also should mention tonight, the Hobbs Lady Eagles are in action at Tasker Arena. They have Alamogordo on the schedule. They already got the JV game going. 5:30 earlier start time for the girls tonight because of the holiday Christmas weekend coming up. So 5:30 start time, 5:15 pregame show. Catch that on our sister station, the Eagle 100.5. Again, Hobbs Lady Eagles tonight against Alamogordo at Tasker Arena. Once again, final score here in Las Cruces, second game of the road trip, as the Eagles lose to Organ Mountain 67-54. We'll get our sponsors in here, and going to be a real fine weekend before we get ready for that big tournament next week. Hope you have a great Christmas coming up on Monday as you continue your Christmas shopping this weekend. Ron, our sponsors.
Yes, Merry Christmas to everyone as we thank Lasco Construction, TDS, Forest Tire, Lee County State Bank, Hobbs Express, Elite Home Healthcare, First American Bank of Hobbs, NMR Pipeline, and Thriftway. Thanks once again for all your support.
Again, we'll come back to you Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. approximate for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament live here on Cool 95.7 on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and also the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. And prior to that, around 6:15 or so, Hobbs Lady Eagles action on our sister station, 100.5 The Eagle. Again, have a great Christmas coming up here on Monday, a great weekend on top of that, and we will see you next week for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Goodbye from Las Cruces.